So first things first, and full disclosure, I am not a fan of Kirby nor the series of games he stars in. It's not because I don't like them or anything like that, it's just because I've never played any of them before. Then, randomly, I saw this demo and I have no idea why, but it just kind of spoke to me. I just had this sudden interest in trying it out. I thought the idea of Kirby exploring what looks to be an abandoned human city was a pretty cool idea, although I think I've read that this theme has sort of happened previously in the series, but I'm not entirely sure. I suppose all the Kirby fans out there will have to educate me on that one. But yeah, I saw the demo and it looked really enticing to me, so I just decided to give it a try, and honestly, I was utterly impressed by it. This demo genuinely took me by surprise. Everything from the intro movie to the gameplay to the vibrant graphics to the cute and charming characters, I don't know, just everything seemed to be of such a high quality. The demo starts off with a great 3D animation of Kirby in what I assume is his homeworld when a powerful storm appears out of nowhere. The storm causes lots of destruction and ends up pulling Kirby and a ton of other creatures, which I think are called Waddle Dees, I'm not entirely sure, through some sort of portal into another world. We then discover Kirby face down in the sand and washed up on the beach. The game does that cool thing where it transitions from the cutscene to the gameplay, and yeah, it doesn't look the best, but I will say it looks far better than I expected it to. The Switch really can produce some nice visuals when the developers actually care about producing nice visuals. You make your way through a small jungle-like area and you'll learn a few of the basic controls. Then you get the big reveal. An abandoned and overgrown cityscape which admittedly has less playable space than you'd imagine, but for me it does a good job of making the area feel huge even though you can't physically explore it all. I suppose the correct way to say it is that it gives you a real sense of scale and it helps draw you into the world that you're playing in. Of course, Kirby has his trademark vacuum mouth ability that allows him to swallow an enemy and take on some of their appearance and abilities. You can also just eat a rock and launch it at an enemy's head in a pinch if you want to, but really you'll want to go after those fun abilities when possible. The first ability you really get to use is the sword. It turns the game into somewhat of a basic hack and slash action game, which really does feel spot on control-wise. In fact, all of the controls are pretty snappy and responsive in pretty much every instance. There's a ton of different abilities you can get hold of, and you can even evolve them into better versions of themselves. The demo lets you turn the evolved abilities on and off in the level selection menu, but in the full game, I believe you have to unlock them in a different way, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. If you're not content with sucking up rocks and smaller enemies, how about a car? Or perhaps a soda can vending machine, maybe even a parking cone. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these are part of the powerful and honestly rather funny mouthful mode. Kirby now has the ability to almost swallow large inanimate objects to obtain new abilities. The car, for example, helps you to move quickly, break through walls and run down enemies, while the parking cone allows you to jump up in the air and crash down spike first, killing enemies or breaking some of the scenery. The first time I saw him eat the car, I found it in equal parts hilarious and horrifying. In all seriousness though, it is a fun little mechanic and it makes sense within the Kirby universe, well, at least what I know of it. The demo features 2 difficulties which I assume will be the same in the full release. You have the Spring Breeze mode, which gives Kirby a lot more health and from my testing lowers the amount of enemies in each level. It seems to be geared towards younger children or perhaps players that just want a chilled out experience. The second mode is called Wild Mode, which gives Kirby less health and adds more enemies to each stage. However, you will be able to earn more star coins if you play in this mode. This is probably aimed at older players or people that want a bit more of a challenge. Although from my testing, neither of them seem particularly difficult, but having said that, I imagine some of the later levels may vary in that regard. The demo has 3 playable levels, with 2 of them being actual stages and the third being essentially a boss battle. You can play all 3 in both difficulties as many times as you want, and you'll unlock the option to use the evolved abilities as well. Earlier I mentioned that when Kirby copies an ability, you can actually have a special powered up evolved version of that ability set. So in the demo, if you copy the first sword enemy, you get his sword, but if you have the evolved version, you'll get a bigger and better version of the ability even though you copied that same enemy. In the demo itself, you simply switch this on and off, but from what the demo tells you at the end, it'll be different in the full release. Apparently you'll be able to build up a village which acts as a bit of a home base or hub, and this will be where you spend your star coins in order to upgrade your copy abilities. In all honesty, I couldn't believe how much fun I had with this demo. It just took me back to that pure old school fun type of gaming, but with modern conveniences and controls. As I mentioned, I've never really been into Kirby as a character, and I suppose I'm still not really, but the game itself seems absolutely brilliant and I've now got it on pre-order. I will reach out to Nintendo for a review code, but if I don't get that, I'll buy the game regardless. I think becoming a reviewer and a content creator has really opened my mind, and while I definitely did play a wide range of games before, I almost feel like nothing is off the table anymore. In my opinion, this is a great demo and absolutely did its job by making me want to play the full game at the end of March. It seems to be fun, charming, and generally quite a chilled out experience. I guess that most Nintendo fans have probably already played this demo and/or have the game on pre-order at this point. If not though, I would recommend you hop onto your Switch and download the demo. Just give it a go, even if you're not into Kirby. You might be surprised by the gameplay and its charm. Ultimately, I can't promise that you'll like it if you do that, but I think it is worth trying. I mean, it's free and it's a relatively small download, so why not? I personally wasn't sure if it would click with me, but after around 4 hours of play, it absolutely has. At this point, I'm just really looking forward to exploring the long-abandoned city, building up the town and beating the various bosses in the full release on March 25th. If you enjoyed the video, I really hope you'll consider subscribing, and if you like what I do and want to help support the channel, please check out the first link in the video description down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.